And here we go. I will give it a couple of minutes and wait to see if more people come in. I'll actually I'll do a close up of this alien rat. Alright. Four. Six. Seven. Stuart, how's things? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kieran, how's things? This is actually for an order from today, so I got a few orders for series aliens, so I'm gonna throw a few together this evening. I have some made already. Actually, I'll get to the macro lens one sec. Yeah. So I got some orders from Original Aliens and Series Aliens, so I'm going to throw some Series Aliens together this evening. Another one. Right, I have another 4-inch piece here. I probably won't have enough to make one more, but see how we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One wrap short. Hate that. The clip on the lens was €15 on Amazon. It's a 15 times zoom. I originally bought it for Instagram pictures of the coils, but it's coming in handy. I really need to get 2 cameras set up. That would be ideal. Right, so we're gonna do one run of series aliens, and then I'll shoot off. So about 20 minutes is it? So the series aliens are Twisted Messes 28 gauge Canthal, and they are wrapped with 36 gauge Twisted Messes. The cores are Canthal and the wrap is Nichrome. You're generally always going to have Canthal cores in a series alien, because Nichrome will ramp up very quick, and Canthal just works better for a series build. It's not going to ramp up too quick. Now, measurement-wise, I don't have. I know some guys have the measuring tapes and stuff out, but I, just from experience, just know where to cut. If you're doing a 3-core alien, you're going to cut 2 lengths. You're going to cut 2 lengths. The length that you're going to wrap, and then your third length you're going to cut longer, because your D-core is going to be longer than your core lengths. I'll explain that better when I'm doing it. So that is the length of that is going to be the length of my wrap, but my D-core is going to be a third bigger. You need that extra third because the wrap, when you take your D-core off and stretch it, you need that extra length to wrap around the 3 cores. So I'll go extra with this one. That fucking wooden block. I'll have to paint it for you here and make you happier. Okay. A little bit low. Alright, so we're going to do our D-core first. So the D-core is basically just a Clapton. It's a Clapton that you loosen and then pull off your core. So Right. So I have my 2 lengths that will be the proper length for the wrap, and then I have my longer length here that I will clap in and then deco. There you go. Clap it down. So 36 gauge micro. Now to attach it, when you're doing your deco, you need to, and a very important thing is you need to run your deco in the opposite direction. You need to run your deco, wrap your deco in the opposite direction that you're going to wrap the alien. So it's more important to have your favorite rotation running when you're doing your alien because it's more difficult than the clapping. So I rather alien clockwise, so I'm going to do my deco anti-clockwise, and that's anti-clockwise. Where did you get your drill set up? I made Clapton's drill pro, but hold the drill, which is never mind. Where did you get your drill set up? I made Clapton's and dual core Clapton's, but holding a drill was a bitch. Never mind getting anything above 30 gauge. The drill setup, I got this from the model of it is Fordham. I got it from a company in the Czech Republic, but there's a company in Spain. They have distributors in Spain, Czech Republic, China, but they're an American company. It's basically like a jewelry tool. Jewelry makers would use it. The fact that it's the foot pedal is brilliant, and the fact that it's smooth, the fact that the chuck is smaller than a normal drill. Some of these are centered. It makes it a lot easier because you've got your 2 hands, especially if you're doing something like a staggered fuse Clapton, where you're trying to space it and you can hold your spacer and hold your spool at the same time. And it's a lot quieter than a drill as well, so you don't wake the children. So cut that off. The next thing is to loosen the decor. So hold the tail end where you cut. Put the drill in reverse. There we go. Put the drill in reverse and run it for a few seconds until you can easily move it, which means it'll slide off clean. If you're struggling if you're pulling on the decor trying to get it off and it's catching, and if your cut at the end isn't clean, it's going to damage the wraps, which means when you're wrapping your alien, you're going to have imperfections in your alien. And so it's important to make sure it's not very loose, but like loose enough that it'll slide off easily. Yeah, should be good. Kieran, type something in the chat there. Anything. There you go. You're officially a spammer. Congratulations. Is that your first spam? Right, so that's the decor slid off. I'll give you a close up of the decor before I stretch it. Where did you get your TM wire? I get it from Ohm's Distro. Ohm's Distro, isn't it? Yeah, Ohm's Distro in England. I have a wholesale account, so I get it at a good price. So this is your decor before you stretch it. So it's basically a Clapton with the core pulled out. So Mick, how's things? So that's your decor. So there's no set amount to stretch your decor. A lot of it is feel and practice. So it's no good saying to me, it's no good for me to tell you stretch it 9 feet, stretch it 12 feet, stretch it 15 feet, whatever. Because it'll depend on the length of your cores. So it's going to take practice and it's going to take trial and error, and you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it to start. But the more you practice, the more you're going to get. It's the same as anything. If the more you practice, the more you're going to get better at it. And I basically have I know exactly. Once I know my length of my decor, I know exactly how much to stretch it. If you're doing it, just practice and persevere, and you will get it. When the only tip that's any use, I suppose, is when you're stretching the decor. At the start, I was closing my eyes and trying to feel for the tug. So you're walking away, stretching your decor, and when you feel the first bit of pressure, it's like a little bit after that. That's as best as I can explain it. Right, so I'm going to stretch this and I'll be back in a second. I'll stick the macro lens and I'm finished pulling my coil. Stuart, we're good. So this is how much I stretch my decore. So just for an example. Right, you. Next is to set up the tree course. So right, I'm going to get. I'm just going to get these didn't look. Oh, of course they worked. Now, I will give us a close up of how I secure the three ends. Right, so get your get your three ends and get your three cores and make an L shape, like so. And then try and make them into a triangle, like so, and that will slide into the chuck, hopefully.
And I wish that I could do it, 'cause I was on your gun. Oh, if only I could do it, I come and get you, I can't forget you. I miss you, I miss you, I miss you all the time.
Now these need to be fairly tight because they're going to be under a bit of pressure, under a bit of tension, so they need to be fairly well tightened down. Because it's a pain if you're in the middle of doing your wrapping and one of the cores loosen. It's a bit of a pain to make sure you have it well sewn down. Right. Next thing we do is we're going to cut them to length. So start at the chuck end. start at the chuck ends. Start at the chuck end and get your 3 cores lying flat and stretch them out and cut them even at the end. Flat cap, nice to see you. And then what I do is use one of these Pantino alien makers. They will flatten the cores for you. So make sure they're all flat. Run your fingers down them and slide the Pantino alien maker on. That will just slide on. And the idea of that is it basically gives you the first centimeter and the cores are perfectly flat. So that's the idea there. So they come in different gauge sizes, and this one is 28 gauge. The green ones are 28 gauge, and it'll make sure your cores are coming out flat to start, so you can get a good start to your alien. Right. So once you've that done, run your fingers down and secure it to your swivels. U-shape and 2 or 3 twists. And that's this. And tighten it all up. Right, I'm going to leave the camera there, lads, because I can't stretch it any further. So I'm going to stick the macro lens on and try and focus it, and then I'm going to do a run and see if you have a decent view then. Right, that's not too bad then. Now, what I do is I put in 3 of these C-clamps along the length, and they will help keep the 3 cores flat as well. So just run your fingers down, and I usually put one at the start, one in the middle, and one at the end. And they're very, very handy for keeping your cores flat, which is the main thing when you're making aliens. I'll actually take this off for a sec to try and show you. To start the alien, then what I do is the 3 L's that you've made in your chuck, I will wrap the deco around one of those, and then I will start slowly and see how we get on. Right, I'll set up the macro lenses to see hopefully what's going on. So what I do is, oh, second music's gone. 1 second. What I do is I alien for about 3 or 4 inches, and then I move the C clamp on. So this is my normal speed here. I don't go crazy fast. Slow to medium speed. Move it on a couple of inches. Go again. And when I get to the end, what I normally do is I'll force it to overlap on itself to secure the end so it doesn't slide, because sometimes the wraps can, when I finish, the wraps can move, which is not what you want. So I will make it back up on itself, so it's not going to budge. Now that is there's a couple of spots that I wouldn't be happy with, but I'll definitely get at least 2 coils out of that. Series coils. It's hard to focus that. There we go. That's as good as we get. There we go. Okay. Television vapor, how's things? You know you're good when you make this look easy. Thanks very much, Kieran. Right, so we're all good here. I see a spot. There's one spot here. There's one spot here, a couple of inches from the end. So from here to here is no good. The last 2 inches. So I'm going to cut that out of it. Right. So all of that is good wire. That's about 12 inches. Maybe about a foot. So I'll definitely get 2 series coils out of that. Now that I've cut that end, I'm going to make a U shape on the end. So when I'm wrapping the coils, the wraps don't move. So make a little L. And the same on this side. Right, so I'm going to get 2 coils out of this. So what I'm going to do is cut this in half. And do the same again. Make the little U shape and squeeze it so the wrap does not move when I'm wrapping the coils. Because there's nothing worse than spending half an hour making coils and everything is lovely and perfect, and then you go to wrap the coils and they wrap size off and you've ruined 20 minutes or half an hour's work. So you don't belong learning not to let that happen. Specsavers. Flat cap. I see you here, isn't I? Flat cap. I better make you a spanner. I think everyone's a spanner now at this stage. Add moderator. Congratulations, guys. You are now a spanner. Boom. Right. 2 lengths. So these series aliens are going to be, they're just the stock ones on the website. So they're the 8 wrap, 3.5 mil diameter. 3.5 mil diameter, and the OMET dual coil at 0.35. Gaz loves these things. Where are we? There is some I've made already too. Right, so there's loads of different ways you can wrap a coil, but this is the way I do it. So index finger and thumb holds the wire. Make a U shape so it's facing up. Grab your jig end and wrap 8 times. So 1, 2, 3. The only thing I watch when I'm wrapping my coil is that the wire is straight. It's not twisted, and if it is twisted, I will get the nylon pliers and I'll untwist it either before or during or either before or when I'm wrapping. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, because it's 0.35, it's very springy. So what I do is I go like an extra half wrap because it's going. I'll show you now. That's actually 9 wraps there, but when I let it go, it's going to spring back like that. So that's about 8.5. So I need to pull it back a bit. So I'll pull back. I find this is the tidiest way and makes the coils look as tidy as possible. So then I have my 90. Where are we here? You have more or less 90 degrees there, and I just get my thumb and I bend one leg to match the other, and make sure both legs are even. And there we go. There's one coils. There we go. Pretty good. So these will ohm out at 0.35 series. You can use them in like a big RDA with like the likes of the Saga, the Saga from Vapor's Cloud. It's Joule 21700 mix, and to go well in something like that. How do you count your wraps? I see people count from the top of the coil, but only count the leg wrap as half a wrap. So someone's 6 wrap could be someone else's 8 wrap. Well, this for me, this is an 8 wrap definitely. If you count them there, to me that's an 8 wrap because it's 8 full rotations. So yeah, 8 full rotations. That's a clean one now. So same again. So index finger, thumb, bend a U shape, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, and then go an extra half, and let it spring back, and then pull out the half a wrap, or not even half a wrap, a quarter of a wrap, till it's 90 degrees again, and then bend until we have the 2 legs the same. There's a lot of little tricks and tips, but it just takes a lot of practice. One sec. There we go. Just the second one. Really clean. All the wraps are even. Happy with that. No imperfections I can see. Now, any of the coils I make, I would like if there's like one wrap, even if I see there's one wrap out of place, I'll bin it because I just won't send it to anybody. I'm constantly using that macro lens, checking stuff. If I send stuff out to anybody, they will have been checked by the macro lens to see is there any imperfections, but they're pretty good. That is it. That's it, really. Just a couple of leg lengths. I have, for the smaller coils, I use one of these to cut the leg lengths. One of these coily tools, or like a rip off of the coily tool. But for series aliens, because a lot of people put series aliens in larger RDAs or RTAs, I'll go the width of my ceramic tweezers, because it's thicker than the coily tool. The coily tool will go up as far as 8mm, and I'm guessing these are like 12mm thick. It'll give someone using the series aliens a bit more room to play with. Dave, how's things? So I'll be finishing up in a couple of minutes. If anyone has any questions, just throw them in there before I hit the road. There is the coverage. How do you know what your coils ohm out before you build them? The ones I make stock on the website, obviously I know because I've been making that many of them. But what I normally do, if it is a coil that I'm not used to making, or different size diameters, or I will go to the Vape Tool app. The Vape Tool app. This one here, the Vape Tool app. And it will, now it's not going to be perfect. It's going to give you a rough guide, but the rough guide is a good guide, so it's not going to be miles out. So if it's telling you your dual coil fuse Clapton is going to ohm out at 0.2, it might ohm out at 0.22, but it's close. So it's going to give you a good guideline. If I've got something that I'm worried the ohms aren't going to be close and I'm selling them to a customer, I'm going to make a set before I give them a set, before I send the set. But if someone's looking for just say a set of aliens at 3.5 diameter instead of 3, or 2.5 instead of 3, the 5, if you wanted the 5 core aliens in 0.35 instead of 0.3 like I said on the website, it's going to add resistance because there's going to be more wire, which means there's more resistance for the current to travel through. But it's like an extra half a mil is only going to add like 0.02 ohms, so it might go from like a 0.12 to a 0.14. But if it's something really unusual, I will make like practice runs of the coils first before I tell a customer, by the way, these are going to ohm out or what, such and such. Where are we? I'll give you a last close up of these before I hit the road. So there's A-wraps, series coils, all done. I'm thinking of doing regular, like maybe weekly live building coils, building the coils I build on the website, but also building different types of coils. I know I was trying to think what day of the week is quiet for lives, and I was thinking Monday's fairly quiet. So maybe Monday about 10 or half 10, jump on for an hour and throw some coils together and answer any questions anyone has. I'm going to talk to Flatcap and see can I figure out how to use OBS because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'd love to have a face cam, and I'd love to have another camera that I can do the close-ups with, permanently sitting ready to go, and just a matter of hitting the button and switching back and forth. Because pulling the camera up and down is a pain in the ass. So I'll talk to Flatcap and see can I figure out something, and I'll maybe get another camera. I'll see what he says. He knows his stuff, obviously. Right, I'm gonna hit the road. Thanks for everyone that watched, and thanks for everyone in chat. Stuart, Kieran, the Levitian, I don't know how to pronounce that. Levitian Vapor, Dave, Flatcap. Who else is here? Skint, Stuart. Who's Stuart already? Thanks all for watching, and I'll see you again in about a week or so. Sounds good. Send a notification earlier. I will. Yeah, I need to figure out when I'm doing it first, and then it'll be once it's a regular thing. I think people will start knowing when it's coming. But I'll send out notifications probably early the day if I'm going to be going live that night. All right, lads. Thanks. See you.